My best friend came into town this weekend, and she got me an astrology book. This astrology book encouraged me to finally remind my mom to ask for my birth certificate just so I can make sure the time that she gave me for my birth was right. And I was feeling so sure it was right because the information was just lining up. It just seemed to be. Basically, I had an identity crisis when I found out I was a Cancer rising instead of a Leo rising. Now, we'll save the talk about Western astrology versus other cultures' astrology, some other time. It's not like it's too many formulated thoughts. I just want to get to know all of the astrologies. Anyway, I have this huge identity thing based on being the picture of duality. I relate a lot to Melanie Martinez's Field Trip, her song Field Trip, specifically as a life path 11, as a, master number 11, a life path 2, feeling constantly like a paradox, like people knowing me to be a complete paradox. And I mean in so many ways you probably wouldn't normally think about, like just constantly contradicting myself, which I know a lot of people can relate to. It was a big thing to me that my sun sign was Aquarius and my rising sign was Leo and my moon sign was Libra. It was literally like my sun and rising were two opposing signs being held up by the balance scales. And I've been trying to understand the emotional aspects of myself for a very long time, and it was just so, I've been trying to get comfortable with them instead of, disliking them, just because I'm not surrounded by the same kind of emotional people. I'm not surrounded by emotional people. So it's hard to kind of, share those values with other people. So I had a whole life crisis and, talked to my mom about it because I was just like, this is crazy. I had gotten comfortable and, having these ideals kind of support who I thought I was. Now, my mom's whole thing was, which I appreciated and really am grateful for, honestly, and kind of rooted me in the ground. Her thing was, nothing can take away who you are. You are who you are, no matter what. If that's who you believe you are, that's who you are. And when I looked at the rest of my astrological information, I realized that a lot of places still, supported my beliefs of who I was. And she was right. Before I had even had that confirmation, it was yeah, I do still feel that way. I was I thought I was this magical being with these opposing signs, and it was just all perfect in duality and all this stuff. I thought I was magical. I just wanted to be magical and special. And she was like, I have been telling you since the day you were born. You are. I knew it. Something strange about you. In a good way. And I'm yeah, Dad said the same thing. I had been using, but I told her I had been using astrology to kind of help root what I know about myself in something real, or in something tangible, let me say that. So she grounded me, and I had a moment, and it was still a little tough, but I was like, okay. And I went to update my best friend on all this, because I was talking to my mom in real time as it was happening. And I got off the phone with my mom, I went to my best friend and told her the situation. And it was funny because I was just what does it even mean to be a Cancer rising? I don't even know what this means. I just feel like this means I'm emotional like I thought I was. I'm not my opposing signs. I'm a Cancer rising now. And you know what my best friend did? She just walked over and went, welcome to the club. You leveled up. And it was such a small thing, but it was to have something be reframed that way, to where it's not questioned. Somebody just walks over and is you leveled up, to something you thought was the end of the world, the end of who you thought you were, and to be told you just leveled up. I'm that's a really cool thing to do. And it definitely gave me so much to think about how I refer to things, how I talk to people about their own things they come to me with. And I even got to see aspects of where I showed that part of myself to others. Just to reframe a change as a level up, regardless of what it is. It's just a really cool thing to do, because it's easy to be okay, this is, maybe this is good for me. Maybe this, isn't what I thought I wanted, but it's what I needed. Or to be it's probably going to do the thing. It's just, it feels so rooted in uncertainty and hope, right? Which isn't a bad thing. But to have someone certainly walk over and be welcome, you leveled up. It just really refreshed me. And after having my mother ground me, it just was such a nice thing to see. There are level ups to be found in everything. That's what that taught me. And I'm gonna have fun getting to know what it means to be a Cancer rising, to see what Western astrology has to say about that, to see what I can learn from other astrology that isn't rooted in colonialism is going to really be cool. I'm on a journey of trying to figure out how I can get invested in, or how I can get connected to astrology that has more to, like, that represents, my culture, my background. I don't see a lot of it, so, it's definitely a journey. But I have a lot of people who understand, like, the roots of who I am, who can kind of help me ground as I'm learning who I am and accepting and loving who I am. I don't know what I was talking about, but thanks for listening. That's it. My stepmom's Cancer. I love her. Ah, that makes sense. Me and my dad are both. We're, so much to think about.